Hi everybody, it's Jules Chabot here, Celtic wildlife artist, and it's Friday and it's 10 o'clock UK time, which means it must be weekly wildlife wisdom. So a warm welcome from wherever you are, whenever you're watching, whether you're here live or whether you're watching the replay many weeks or even years later. You are very welcome, and I'm so happy that you found this space, and I hope that you will enjoy hearing more about the weekly wisdom for today. Morning, Susie. Lovely as always to have you here. And today we're going to be talking about the beautiful kingfisher, which was a wonderful suggestion from lovely Laura, who follows in with weekly wildlife wisdom. So thank you so much, Laura. Laura's an amazing lady in her own right and does all sorts of amazing things. So thank you for suggesting kingfisher. I'd love to hear when you've watched the recording, Laura, whether it was because you've been seeing kingfishers or whether they just suddenly started coming to mind, or why you suggested it. I'd love to hear that from you if you get a chance and you'd like to share. But we're going to focus on kingfish today. Before we get started into that, Susie's saying, thank you, Laura. So that's lovely. Yeah, it's a really good suggestion. Amazing. I looked back through all of my notes from, oh, goodness, how many years. And I haven't actually talked about kingfishers before. So I'm trusting that the timing is right. And the key sort of feel that was coming through for me from the beautiful kingfishers is that it's about being able to see our future without fear. And I think in today's world, with everything going on in this human-made madness, it really is a very important message for us humans to ponder and to implement in our lives and to work on within ourselves. Susie saying, once I saw a kingfisher, truly magical. Yeah, they're incredible, aren't they, Susie? I've been lucky enough to see a few in the UK. We just have one species here in the UK, which is very beautiful, which we just call kingfisher because I guess we've only got one species. But around the world, believe it or not, there is apparently 114 different species of kingfisher, which is just amazing, isn't it? And they really are almost everywhere in the world, apart from the Antarctic. They aren't there as far as we know anyway, but they are really a very diverse type of bird, and fascinating. So for each particular species there will be distinctive nuances in their particular energy and wisdom. So if you see a particular sort of kingfisher, or you notice that kingfisher's coming into your life, pay attention to the particulars of that species that you're noticing, if it's species specific, because that can help you as well. And that can be as easy as just looking up and reading scientists write-ups on the individual species. How do they live? Where do they live? What elements are they most involved with? What colourings do they have? What do those colours mean? And what's different about them from other kingfishers? All that can give you little nuggets of information so that you can, really start to discern and intuit for yourself who these beautiful beings are and why they're turning up and giving you this lovely, normally quite gentle tap on the shoulder, but sometimes they come in abundance and won't let you rest until you have got the message. So I'm really keen for all of you to sort of trust yourselves to learn and to remember how to reconnect with the ancient wisdom of all species, because they all interconnect with us. But without further ado, let's talk more about kingfisher. One last thing though, before I do that, I just want to mention at the start that we do have a new moon. It was here at about 1:45 this morning in the UK. So we're right on that really key energy. But tonight also there is the complete alignment of 7 planets, and they call it the 7-planet parade. And I saw them all last night. I've got an app because you can't see all of them by eye, even if you've got a beautiful clear sky. because some of them are just too distant and too close to the others that they get sort of obliterated, in vision terms, that is. But if you have an app that shows you where the planets are and the constellations, you can just pop that up at the sky and you will see that there is this amazing parade of all 7 planets. And now, I'm not an expert, but as I understand it, each planet has their own energy and wisdom. And I really believe that they all have a message, again, like the animals. All life has a message, and I truly believe that planets are living beings as well. Not in the same way we are, obviously, but they are imbued with life force. So they have this energy and this vibration, and to have them all in alignment, so close and so visible to the earth, brings each of their unique energies together. So it almost like gives you this complete set of the energies all at once on a new moon. To me, that's amazing. Just intuitively, it feels very, very powerful. And I don't know if you've been noticing the energies over the last few days and probably the next few days to come. There's a lot of intensity. So it's just, for me, my guidance to you is to go within, listen with your gut, with your heart, and just feel into what's being pulled forward. New moons are always a chance for you to ask for help to let go of things that don't serve you. Susie's saying, I thought it was me. I know. Don't we always think, gosh, what's going on for me? And then this is why I love reading more about astrology, where it can really inform how you're feeling when you connect with it and read, and it says you might be feeling like this or this. It really does help you to think, well, it's not just me. It's an entire consciousness, life force consciousness, and it's really, really important. And Kingfisher links beautifully into this, because the Kingfisher really has a number of key wisdom areas. And the first one I want to touch on is the fact that they have an oversized head and beak to the proportion of their body. And there is a reason in evolutionary terms for this, of course, the genius of creation. They are predominantly fish hunting beings. They are predatory fish hunters. Of course, with a name like fishers, you would expect that. And so they will sit by the water's edge, and they have this beautiful, beautiful quality. 3 sort of qualities, really, I would say. The first is extreme patience and the ability to sit still, sometimes for huge amounts of time, waiting and watching with their eyes focused on the water, what is beneath the surface of the water. And this is all about emotions. Water as an element symbolizes our emotions. Beneath the surface is considered to be to do with our inner unconscious wounding, experience, beliefs, ancestral connections. So it's really important for us to learn and develop this patience. In today's world, we're sort of like conditioned to be anti-patient, if that's even a word. I've just made that up. But sort of like everything has to be fast, 100 miles an hour, and it's still not fast enough. Whereas the Kingfisher's teaching us that patience and focused patience is absolutely crucial, and so is their accuracy and precision. Their beaks are extraordinary designs. They are very, very strong, and they look like a spear. And in fact, the way that they hunt is they will penetrate the water at a very rapid rate and will literally spear their prey, the fish, so that they can't escape. And then they eat them all in one go. So it's a real fast, precise hit, achieving their goal, then probably followed by another set of extreme patience and focus, waiting for the next opportunity until they don't need any more food. And that, for me, speaks to me of leadership. True leadership is knowing, even if it's if it's only ourselves, I delete only as well. Leading ourselves is probably the most important thing we can do in our in our life is learning how to lead ourselves effectively with our values, with our integrity, and doing something that makes us feel as if we have a useful purpose is absolutely core. Susie's saying, I think is it Llewellyn's Moon Sign book mentioned it? Oh, I've not heard of that book. That sounds amazing. But yeah, if you just do a little Google search about the Planet Parade, you'll find it's mainly sort of science talking about it, but it's still fascinating. But yeah, just feel into that, Susie, because it is massively powerful. So I think starting with that is this need for us to really take responsibility. You know, we have human beings on the planet, especially those of us that live in developed countries, and I am generalizing because I know there's still an awful lot of poverty, sadly, in a lot of very well developed countries, as well as the less developed countries. But we are living in the main very privileged lives, where we have come to live our life in security and safety. In the main, I'm generalizing, with abundance of food and homes and everything that we need, really. And so we've sort of, over the time, become almost dependent on others, too often the detriment of our own sense of responsibility and ownership of our choices and the choices that we make. And I think that's really important. And the other side, the deeper side, if you like, to Kingfisher, is that they're also associated with our third eye, our brow chakra, or our energy center within us, whatever you choose to call it, that allows us to connect with something greater than us. And this is with our third eye. It's located here near to our physical eyes. So this is about inner seeing, which is often called clairvoyance, which means inner seeing. So our inner seeing is also what we're being called to draw upon. I know this message comes up a lot with the animals, and rightly so, because they're so in tune with their inner knowing, their inner hearing, their inner viewing, and their inner feeling, that they want us to remember that and reconnect to it. And so the Kingfisher is asking us, is encouraging us to step into that and to trust ourselves. Susie's out adding, latest versions of social media apps promote increased speed and distraction. Unfortunately, yeah, it's almost the opposite of what we need. And it's not that we sit in quiet contemplation all of the time. It's cycles, isn't it? Flows of movement, physical movement, and then physical stillness, so that we go inward. So it's that balance of inner and outer life each day, and determining how we best do that for ourselves, so that we can learn and grow and shed the things that no longer serve us. And that's so important, which I think I'll come on to next with these beautiful animals message, because it was all about when animals, any animal, perceive a threat around them, and in the animal world, they are still very much living, often case, where they will have predators. Not always, but most animals have predators, active predators. And so they have a very well developed and highly tuned response to any perceived threat. And when the threat happens, they respond instantly, and they do what they need to do, whether it be fight, whether it be flight, whether it be freeze in some instances. They do it. Then once the threat has passed, assuming they aren't predated, and then they go off into the other realms if they are. If they're not predated, they then have a method of shedding that traumatic experience, the buildup of the adrenaline and all the chemicals in the body that have caused this massive response to survive. And they shed it. For example, horses will often they will shake, they will go down onto the ground, and they will roll, and they will let off the energy, the buildup of this energy, so that they can release it. They will snort, they will gallop and buck and break wind and all that sort of thing, to just explode the energy out of their body. And then within a few minutes, they're back to grazing peacefully. And all animals have their own way of doing that. The message I got from the kingfisher is that we, in our particular place now, where we're often removed from actual threats, is that we will create them in our mind. So we will create the fear that we will then activate in terms of our manifesting abilities. We all have the power of focused attention, and what we focus on, we will attract into our life. Now, I'm not saying that everything you think fearfully will come to fruition, but if you do it in a sustained, very powerful, emotionally connected way, you are running the risk of almost inviting in what you don't want. And because we don't have the immediacy of a threat, which then causes a huge reaction of a prey animal, a predator coming to us as a prey animal, we've sort of lost touch with that ability to deal with it and then to release it afterwards. And that's where we as humans can get very, very stuck. And I'm not suggesting there's a quick, simple answer to this, but what I am suggesting is that we do better when we become aware of this and we start to explore and do the work on ourselves, often with support of qualified experts to help us to release those traumas that can get stuck inside us. And this is where our fear becomes our own worst enemy. I think from my lovely friend Julie earlier this week when I spoke with her, the quote is from Winston Churchill, so I trust her completely on that. And it is, but forgive us if that's not right, it is the only thing to fear is fear itself. And if you think about that, from what I've just been sharing from the kingfisher, they're basically saying, do not bring what you don't want upon yourself by imagining it into being. And I think that is just so important. When you think about the billions of people on the planet right now, we're all thinking, and that thinking connects into our parasympathetic nervous system. And if it's fear and escalating and running, like a steam train that's running away with us, and we're creating this over and over and we're perpetuating it, and we're doing this on a mass scale, you can imagine the impact that it has on the collective manifestation, the collective consciousness. So it's not about denying it. And I know I say this, but I think it's so important. It's not about denying it, pretending it's not happening, but it is about being aware and conscious enough within ourselves that we are able to say, this is not what I want. This is dreadful, whatever the situation is. This is what I want, and this is my part to play in it. And we become disciplined and able, dedicated to focus our patient time, our silent time, our meditation, our walks in nature on feeling what it feels like to manifest what we want to bring into the world. And where we have fears that feel particularly stuck, like traumatic fears, to work through those layer by layer. I don't think we ever finish. So it's an ongoing maintenance and letting go of layers and layers and layers of the things that still pop up that we feel like we sort of can't let go of. I'm so frightened. I've been having some singing lessons, and it's fascinating. I had my 4th lesson yesterday, and it's fascinating to tune in. I totally trust my teacher, who's wonderful, and she's teaching me so much, but I'm still getting these waves of fear to be verbalizing loudly, really bringing my sound out. And I can feel it reverberating through my body. The parts of me, the scared younger parts of me and older parts, I'm sure, that are going, this is not, are you sure this is safe? Is it okay? And then confirming and just holding myself, saying it's fine, it's absolutely fine. Listen to the beauty of the energy that is coming out, and being supported by this wonderful, strong female that who is teaching me as well. And I can really feel that. So I'm acknowledging it. I'm not denying it. I'm not trying to suppress it. I'm not telling myself off. I'm simply comforting and supporting what's going on. So through this, I can feel my energy shifting. And I think, not for everybody, but I think often physical moving through of trauma, memories and fears is really helpful. And that can be dancing, singing, anything where you are drumming or bringing in a physical element is definitely something that I'd encourage. And with the Kingfisher, they have a design in their head. I was telling you about their disproportionate head and beak. Well, their head is designed, it has a certain musculature to it, with the beaks designed so that it minimizes the impact as the bird hits the water, often at they call them breakneck speeds for a reason, very high speeds. And so they're designed to cushion and to comfort. And although we haven't got that, and we're obviously not doing what the Kingfishers are doing, I think we need to develop our own inner safety zone where we can comfort and we can give a process to releasing fears and traumas. And that's very much individual to you, and just feeling into that and intuiting and asking for help to release that, and asking for that, particularly today with this new moon energy. Bring in Kingfisher, humbly ask them for their help with these qualities, and to release the fears gradually and gently, but on an ongoing basis, so that we can step more and more into who we really are, our beautiful gifts, our beautiful energy and wisdom. That's what we're really being encouraged to bring forward into our lifetime, to share that with everyone. Susie's saying music heals. Yeah, it really does. But I appreciate music's not everybody's bag. But I do think there's something very primordial about music, drumming, that really helps our body, our physical, emotional, spiritual body, to re-engage with that shedding of trauma that animals do so beautifully, and are such masters at it. And I think if we can continue to do that, it really does open up opportunities for us, open up our self-responsibility and the stability that we feel deep inside of us to step forward and share what we're here to share. And that, to me, I always say this, it's not so much the topic or the content, but it's that it's true to your heart and it speaks to you and it feels purposeful and meaningful, and it is for something bigger than just ourselves. It can't really be about me. It's got to be about all of us. It's got to be about how we protect and preserve and honor and respect this massive privilege that we have to be here and to be alive. So there you are. Ooh, nearly 25 past. Got carried away today. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's been lovely to chat with you as always, Susie, and I'd love to hear from anyone else, everybody else that's watching this recorded. Please feel free to comment or to message me over on my website at juleschabot.com. I love to hear from you, and to engage in that way as well, so please feel free to ask. Just checking I haven't missed anything else. Oh, there was one last thing. So this idea of bringing your vision into the world, free of fear, to turn that on its head in terms of what that means from what we want, is to have a healthy anticipation, an excitement, and a preparation of what needs to be done to get us ready for the next step. Because of course, with all of this, we can't just vision it. We have to be bringing it into physical action, step by step, every day. So getting that balance right is what it's all about. And that, for me, is where we need to be moving, as focused and as dedicated as we possibly can, whatever that looks like for us. So I'm going to love you and leave you in peace. I wish you a beautiful day, and enjoy, if you can see in some way, the planet parade this evening. Do have a look. They reckon that sort of the hour after sunset is possibly the best time to see it, but do a bit of research for your local area. If you've got an app, let me see which one I've got, because I know it's globally available. I think it's about £4, about $5.50. It's called Sky View, and it's absolutely brilliant. It shows you where all the constellations are and the planets, and you just point it at the sky. You can point it underneath, because obviously it's doing the whole planet around you. You can see where they are, and to see this lineup is quite something. It seems very, very significant. So enjoy. Hopefully, all being well, I'll be with you next week as we head into March already, and I look forward to receiving whose wisdom we're going to receive next week. But in the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and thank you so much for listening and being open to the wisdom of the animals. Lots of love. Take care. Bye for now.